Hello everyone and welcome to today's 3-minute mind reboot, all about asking the question, what is wrong with me? When we play that comparison game and we're looking outside of ourselves and we're saying, oh, they do that so good and I wish I could do that, and they get all this attention because they do this so well and I really want to do that, or maybe I can do that and they're starting to bypass me and getting better than me, and that makes me feel bad and that makes me feel not safe anymore. And so we need to ask ourselves some questions so that we can start to overcome this and start to just feel confident in ourselves. Our mind is attacking us, making us doubt ourselves, question ourselves, and that really feels bad. So we want to learn how to come away from that, and today I have 3 simple tips, practical things that you can do to help you come away from that quickly. The first thing that I want to talk to you about is being truly happy for others. Now this can be a hard one, especially if you're in fear. If you're in a lot of fear about being replaced, you're really attached to the identity of a certain role, and that's who I am, and if they come along and they threaten that and they take it away from me, who am I now? So when that kind of thing happens, you have to see first that you're really attached to being this. And to ask yourself to be happy for them is kind of an unreasonable expectation on yourself. When you're faced with fear, it's hard to be happy for other people. It's not because you're self-centered, it's not because you're a bad person, it's just because you're standing in the face of fear and you'll need to cope with that first. It can be quite overwhelming. So in your worksheet today, I'm going to help you work through that and learn how to be happy for others. And the second thing that I want you to do is ask yourself, well, what is it that I'm afraid of? Sometimes if we just say, you know what, okay, if that were to happen, and I lose, or I don't succeed, or somebody replaces me, or somebody takes the role that I'm attached to, what is the absolute worst thing that can happen? And you kind of come to, oh, well, I'll be left alone, or forgotten, or abandoned, or something along those lines usually. Usually we do things because we want to be included, or we want to be around people, or we want to be somebody. And so if we're not somebody, we may not have friends, we may be left alone. So really explore what your fear is. And the third thing is, once you find out what that is, it's time to release it. So you're going to ask yourself some questions and find what that fear is on the deepest level. And one thing that a good tip that I want to give you is, ask yourself, you know what, if that were to happen to me today as an adult, would that be as bad as it would have been if I were a kid? Because a lot of our fears are based off of childhood, the imagination of a 5-year-old. But now we're adults, and if we revisit that fear and say, actually, if I was left alone or forgotten or not talked to or abandoned, would that be actually as bad as it would have been if I was 5 years old? And the answer to that is no, because as an adult, you have way more coping skills. You can drive a car, or you can take care of yourself, or you can go get food for yourself. It's just not as big of a threat as it is when you're an adult as it was when you were a kid. And we just don't rethink that. We just assume that this fear is going to go with us for the rest of our lives, and it doesn't have to. So that's an old fear. It's outdated. It's something that belonged to you when you were younger as a kid. You don't have to have that fear anymore. So if you just stop and ask yourself these questions, you can learn how to truly be happy for other people, and you can maintain your emotional stability and feel really good about yourself. I hope you've enjoyed today's 3-minute mind reboot.